Okay, great. Pursuant to Section 5, to Chapter 231, Public Law, 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2025 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December of 2024, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Mr. Daffis,
Present.
Mr. DeLuca,
Here.
Ms. Engel, Ms. Herman,
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public in any meeting, and whereas desire of the governing body to comply with the provisions of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township Maplewood, does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in the deliberations of the governing body by the public, and except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit to public the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body at all regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. All right, I'd ask that everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
Of
the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 2 moments of silence this evening. The first is for Ruth Perlmutter. Ruth, old friend of mine back in the day, longtime Maplewood resident, married to, both she and her husband Ben were very active in the community. Ben was the chair of the Economic Development Commission that I was on back in, I don't know, 91, 92. And Ruth was the founder of the Jersey Animal Coalition, and volunteer and cherished member of the community. So please hold a moment of silence. Thank you. And one more moment of silence. This afternoon, our South Essex Fire Chief's mother passed away. So our thoughts are with Chief Alvarez and his family during this difficult time. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. My shoes. All right, welcome to the Tuesday, October 21st, 2025 meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee. We have 2 proclamations on for this evening. One is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is this month in October. The other is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I will read the Breast Cancer Awareness Proclamation, and Deputy Mayor Herman will read the Domestic Violence Awareness Proclamation. We have a few boards and committee appointments. William Collier to the Historic Preservation Commission, Darshna Patel to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and Kristen User as reappointment to the Arts Council. Then we'll have public comment on agenda items only. Then we have ordinances on for final passage. And we don't have any on for introduction, right? Right. So we have several on for final and none for introduction. Then we'll move to reports from departments, administration, township attorney, township clerk. Then we'll have reports from elected officials, starting with Mr. Daffis and Mr. DeLuca, Deputy Mayor Herman, and then I go last. We have 4 discussion items on for tonight from Public Safety and from Engineering and Public Works and Planning Committees. Those are both chaired by Mr. DeLuca, so all 4 items are his. First is Police Off-Duty Administrative Fee, the Columbia High School drop-off and pickup traffic pattern, proposed 2026 Jitney and parking, commuter parking fee increase, and Parker Avenue bike lanes. Then we have a consent agenda, public comment on any topic at all, and then we will adjourn. So with that, I will go into the breast cancer awareness. So I get the privilege of reading this because I am a breast cancer survivor. So good news. So this is real important that we recognize things like this every month, just to gently remind people to take care of themselves, basically. Whereas breast cancer will affect approximately 1 in 8 women in the United States during their lifetime, and 1 in 833 men will be also diagnosed. And whereas in 2025, an estimated 316,950 women and more than 2,800 men nationwide will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. And whereas breast cancer remains the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women and the second leading cause of cancer death, with death rates 40% higher among Black women than white women, and serving as the leading cause of cancer-related death among Latina women. And whereas early detection does indeed save lives, with 66% of breast cancers diagnosed at an early stage when treatment is most effective. And whereas advances in screening, treatment, awareness have contributed to a 43% decline in breast cancer deaths in the United States since 1989. And today, more than 4 million people are living with or beyond breast cancer. And now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Nancy Adams, Mayor of the Township of Maplewood and breast cancer survivor, on behalf of the Maplewood Township Committee, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the Township of Maplewood, and encourage all residents to speak with their healthcare providers about breast cancer risk and the importance of regular screenings. And be it further resolved that the Township of Maplewood recognizes the power of community action, and encourages participation in efforts led by the American Cancer Society, the Susan G. Komen Organization, and other local and national organizations dedicated to increasing awareness, advancing research, and supporting those affected by breast cancer. Thank you.
Thank you for reading that. My mom is also a survivor. So it's really good to hear that recognition.
Yep.
I'm reading tonight a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, designated to raise awareness of its prevalence and impact, and whereas domestic violence affects individuals of all ages, genders, races, orientations, and socioeconomic status, with 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experiencing severe physical violence by an intimate partner in their lifetime, impacting more than 12 million people annually in the U.S. And whereas domestic violence hotlines receive more than 19,000 calls daily, highlighting the urgent need for awareness, prevention, and support. And whereas in New Jersey, while domestic violence homicides have declined, reports, arrests, assaults, and incidents involving children or substance use continue to rise. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Malia Herman, Deputy Mayor of the Township of Maplewood, on behalf of Nancy Adams, the Mayor of Maplewood, and the Township Committee, proclaim October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Maplewood. And be it further resolved, residents are encouraged, if safe to do so, to seek support and resources through the National Domestic Violence Hotline. That number is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. Or by texting START, S-T-A-R-T, to 88788, or visiting thehotline.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Two important proclamations. Appreciate everyone taking a moment to listen. We have board and committee appointments now. We'll start with Historic Preservation Commission, Mr. DeLuca.
Thank you, Mayor. We have William Collier here. Come on up to the mic. We're going to be appointing him as alternate number 2. We're still working on the date of, he'll start, but we'll figure out his termination date when we move around some people, so. So if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve on the Historic Preservation Commission.
William Collier, live over on Borden Terrace. I've been a Maplewood resident for 7 years, November. Always had a huge interest in historic architecture and infrastructure and home building. My family goes back many generations in New Jersey of home builders. Currently, I work at a building materials supplier in Chatham, but also do carpentry work. So I live here in Maplewood with my wife, 2 daughters, and dog.
You're set.
I've fallen in love with the town, of course, and its community, and a lot of the historic touches and that the town has.
Great. Thank you.
You want to make a motion?
I'll move the appointment of William Collier as alternate number 2 on the Historic Preservation Commission.
I'll second.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes, thank you for serving.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Harmon,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thanks so much for stepping up and for joining.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Now we have an appointment to the Zoning Board of Adjustment for alternate number 2, Darshana Patel. Come on up to the microphone. Tell us a little about yourself. I believe you expressed interest several months ago, maybe through the form.
I forget when I actually.
Yeah, and then when we had, yep.
I figured that it would be a seed that I planted. If it
Yeah.
ever came to life, it would be great.
Great.
So yeah, Darshana Patel. I've lived in 17 Plymouth Place, and I've lived in Maplewood for almost 10 years. Thank you, first of all, for your consideration for this appointment. I think it aligns with my experience and my background. So I am a licensed architect. I have about 15 years of experience, both in large and small scale, mostly commercial development, all having to deal with building regulations, sometimes dealing with zoning approvals. I'm somewhat familiar with the process. And I would love to be considered because at least in the way that I approach my practice is that I focus on community development with balanced growth, focusing also on equity, sustainability, and creating well-connected spaces. So I would love to be considered. And so thank you.
Well, thank you so much for putting yourself up for nomination to this board. We just had a vacancy, as our secretary informed me about a month ago. So I'm really glad that, and I circulated, by the way, your bio and your resume to my colleagues on the Township Committee so that they could make an informed vote on this one. So I'm going to move Darshana Patel to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, alternate 2.
I'll second the nomination.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Harmon,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Adele Lewis will be in touch with you. She's the Secretary of the Board of Adjustment. Okay, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
We didn't. Fine.
Oh, yeah.
Got to give you your creds on that. Arts Council, we have reappointment of Krista Newser. Mr. Daffis.
Mayor, thank you. Yes, I move the reappointment to the Maplewood Arts Council of Mr. Christopher Denuser.
Second.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Harmon,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you.
And we clap for Mr.
Yeah.
Denuser as well.
If he's watching, you got your applause. There you go. Okay, now we'll move into our first public comment of the evening on agenda items only. If there's anyone who would like to speak and address the Township Committee, please do so now. Is there anyone online, Mr. Wary? I almost called you Mr. Daffis. I have no idea why.
It's very nice of you.
It was just kind of, I felt it
If
coming.
anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak in public portion, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. So we will move on to our ordinances on final passage. The first is 3170-25. Ms. Pritzon.
Yes, Mayor, and final passage. Ordinance number 3170-25 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 271 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Zoning and Development Regulations with respect to parking requirements in the pedestrian retail business zone. This ordinance will amend Article 5 zoning provisions of Chapter 271 of the Township Code to reduce the number of parking spaces required in the pedestrian retail business PRB zone.
Thank you. This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with law. I'd like to open a hearing on this ordinance. Is there anyone who would like to speak about this ordinance to the Township Committee? Anyone online?
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay, with that, I'll ask for a motion from Mr. Daffis.
Gladly, Mayor. We've worked on this ordinance all
You did?
year. So I move this ordinance to be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
Second.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes. Next ordinance, 3171-25.
Yes, also on final, Mayor, ordinance 3171-25 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 62 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Sustainability Committee and repealing Chapter 40 entitled Green Team. This ordinance will amend and supplement Chapter 62 of the Township Code to establish Sustainable Maplewood as the township's green team and to modify committee membership, and will also repeal Chapter 40 of the Township Code entitled Green Team.
Thank you. This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in according with the law. With I'd open the hearing on this ordinance. Is there anyone in the room or online who would like to speak to it?
If anyone on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay, seeing none, then we'll go to a motion by Mr. DeLuca.
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I'll second. Pritzon.
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Herman, Mayor Adams.
Yes. Next ordinance is 3172.
Also on final
Yep.
passage, Mayor. Ordinance 3172-25 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 257 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Vehicles and Traffic with respect to overnight parking. This ordinance will amend and supplement Article 3 of Chapter 257 of the Township Code to establish a new Type C overnight parking permit in certain circumstances.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone who would like to speak on this ordinance?
If anyone joining on Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay, and just to clarify, there are some anxious residents who are waiting for this. So this has to be advertised 10 days before it goes into effect?
That's correct, but the process will be ready as soon as we meet that threshold.
Okay, so people, if you're watching, you want to apply for a permit for overnight parking um, by this ordinance, you can do so in like 10 days. Mr. Daffis.
Deputy Mayor
Oh.
Herman.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask one point of clarification, if I could.
Sure.
So in looking at the zoning, the R24 areas, one of those is on Boyden, across from Seth Boyden Elementary School. And I wonder if, Mr. DeLuca, if you can explain to residents how, I know that's an area of concern for a lot of residents regarding safe pickups and drop-offs from school, how we can make sure that this ordinance doesn't interfere with safety in that area.
Yes, certainly. So the section that you're referring to consists of about 3 private homes that would qualify here and one, I think it's a 6 unit apartment building, so that would not qualify.
Okay.
So of those 3 homes, if anyone in those homes wanted to get a permit to park on the street, I think what we would do is work with them to have them park in somewhere else in the zone, either on Tuscan Road or on Brown Street or Harding Street. I don't think any of them would want to park on Boyd, and it's a pretty busy road, and to leave your car out overnight, you know, it's just, you got a lot of cars going by. It's just, so I think we will work with that. You know, you raised earlier today, you raised another question on Donnell, if in fact we were to, between Jefferson and Oakland, if in fact we were to set up bike lanes there. Well, we would have to work that out too, because certainly bike lanes would, I don't want to use the word Trump, but certainly bike lanes would supersede the parking on the street. So we would have to work something there too. So I don't think that's going to be the case there, because there's
Driveways.
sufficient driveways and parking. I also think on Boyden, there's sufficient driveways and parking for those 3 homes. So
Yeah,
I
this,
think we'll be okay. And if it comes up, we'll figure a workaround. We have the ability to, you know, do stuff with the permit system in the clerk's office and you know, we want anybody who's using this to be friendly with their neighbors and not, you know, try to not have your car there and prevent your neighbor from using the front of his or her house.
and to be clear, this is overnight parking.
Yes, 2 to 6, right?
2 to 6, so I doubt even if they use it, it shouldn't interfere with.
And these residents, right, in the ordinance, it does say that they wouldn't be leaving their cars there
Right.
long term.
All the time.
Thank you for clarifying. I think that really helps.
Right, then,
Uh,
Mr. DeLuca.
I just have, not a question, but I suggest that after the waiting period, that we do outreach to those residents who took the time to address this committee about this in particular, that it's now in effect.
Yeah, I've been in touch with one of them at least on Boyden Parkway. Or Boyden, did I say Boyden? Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay, Mr. DeLuca, can you make a motion?
Yes, I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I'll second. Ms. Fritzen?
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. We have no ordinances on for introduction. Now we'll move to reports from departments.
Mayor, did you want to let our appointees know that they don't have to stay for the whole meeting?
Oh.
Okay, you can certainly stay as long as you want, but,
They know, they want to watch.
okay, it's a test.
So, Mr. Weary,
Thank you, Mayor. One item, there was a late addition on the printed agenda you have before you, Resolution 323-25. Mistakenly, Township Committee members were not notified of the late addition. I'd recommend that we remove that from the consent agenda. We can put that on the November 5th agenda.
could you state which one it is?
Yeah,
again?
this is Resolution 323-25, resolution appointing Essex Regional Health Commission for environmental health services.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
That is my full
That's your
report,
report.
Mayor.
You didn't
Yes.
give your little closing statement. Nothing else. Any questions for our administrator? Seeing none, we'll move on to our attorney. All right. No report from our attorney. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Credidio? Moving right along. Clerk's office, Ms. Pritzen.
So our two appointees here tonight, a bonus for you. I'd like to formally invite you to our volunteer dinner,
Good thing they didn't.
volunteer appreciation dinner. And you're just in time because it's not till Monday night. And we'll send you a formal invitation tomorrow. And we'd love to have you come out and meet your fellow volunteers. There'll be about 100 of them there. So, welcome. And as you all know, we're working on a terrific event for October 27th in our volunteer appreciation night. And yeah, we have over 100 people signed up already. And the other thing coming up, little thing, general election day. Working on that for Tuesday, November 4th. And everything's up on the website. I think it's pretty self-explanatory for anyone that has a question with what we've posted. But we certainly have a lot of people walk in with questions. And we are here in the clerk's office to assist. And our township committee meeting will be the next night on Wednesday, November 5th, our next meeting. And yeah, the other thing coming up is Veterans Day right in this room. As you all know, I really love Veterans Day in our program. And we're going to make it bigger and better for our 22nd year in a row of Veterans Day. A lot of towns I know do not have programs like we do. And I'd encourage everybody listening to come out. You don't have to be a veteran. You are more than welcome. It's a great, short, about an hour ceremony. And then we have lunch afterwards for veterans and all that come out. So those are my 3 events coming up, and I look forward to seeing everyone there.
Thank you, Ms. Fritzen. Any questions for our clerk? Seeing none, okay. We'll move to elected officials. Committee Member Dappas.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report from any of my committees, which did not meet since our last Township Committee meeting, but I do have 2 things. Just further edifying that Election Day is fast approaching us on Tuesday, November 4th, and early voting begins this weekend. And so you can vote early in person, still counts, still legitimate. And you can find out where nearby closest to us on our website or on the Essex County Clerk's website. And lastly, I want to express my gratitude to our community, which came out in full force on Saturday this past weekend to express their patriotism in what turned out to be a joyous and powerful display of community solidarity. We had no single incident, public safety-wise or other, just lots of joy, people raising their voices and coming together side by side as neighbors and friends. It was just really beautiful and very moving and gave me a lot of hope of the path forward. And what I hear is that across the country and around the world, while they were doing the same thing on the same day, there were very few, if any, public incidents, public safety incidents, no arrests. It was truly a very peaceful movement expressing our great patriotism for this great nation that we all live in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was sorry to be on vacation, but there were 5 or 6 on Cape Cod that day too. Yeah, including P-Town and out by where I was staying. So it's
I acknowledged you and said that you were probably attending one of them.
I was certainly in traffic for one. But no, thank you. And thank you for leading that on Saturday. Committee Member DeLuca. Oh, any questions for Mr.?
Thank you, Mayor. 3 things. The Hilton Neighborhood Association Halloween Parade is this Saturday at DeHart Park. Starts at 2:30 promptly. And right after that, we're going to be working with the Maplewood Police Department for a trunk or treat event. So this is the first year that that's happening, and we're glad to be partnering up with the police. Second is that we did a walkthrough with the superintendent of schools and the principal of Seth Boyden School to look at some alternative drop-off ideas. We did come up with one that would have cars enter Jacoby Street and exit on Henry, and we're still working on that. And we'll have we'll be presenting a plan to the school and talking about how it might work. And then we would be meeting with the community, and also the community being the resident community and the parent community, just to talk about that. And lastly, tomorrow in Atlantic City, our Maplewood Middle School STEM team, the creative crew, is going to be presenting their traffic scissor gate. So I'm heading down there to give them support, and hopefully they are one of 3 finalists in the state, and hopefully they will win. So think good thoughts about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I think we need a new name for that, Scissor Gate. It sounds like,
Yeah, I know.
Watergate.
I know. There is a different name, but I like calling scissor gate. So that's it.
Sounds like a controversial thing. All right. Any questions for Mr. DeLuca? No, we'll hear more from him during our discussion items.
Sure will.
I know. Deputy Mayor, your turn.
Hi, thank you. I have a few announcements. First, I want to say happy Diwali to all who celebrate. We here in Maplewood are going to be celebrating on Saturday at Maplewood Memorial Park. Festivities kick off at 2 o'clock, and we'll be lighting sparklers at 5:30. So please come on down to Maplewood Memorial Park and join us for the fun. We have a couple other fun events happening this Thursday, which is a very important day. The Follies. Deputy Administrator Perez, do you know if we're sold out on the Follies, or we not sold out, but it's getting really close. So if you don't have your ticket, hurry and get it. It's $10. And that's always a really good time. We also have the craft brew nights on Springfield Avenue. And I believe that if you go to craft brew, you have the distinct, well, this could be very exciting, to have your ID checked. Right? We're going to have
Well,
ID. Yeah,
Everybody who goes.
anybody who asks me for my ID, I get very flattered. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Especially on Thursday. So we had several committee meetings actually that I want to just give quick little updates on. Our senior committee had a really great conversation about our senior bus. And so you can look forward to having some more information about that senior bus and how seniors can take advantage of our Dial a Ride and Tuesday trips. So look for that coming out really soon. Our recreation committee, we talked about a lot of different events, and we did spend quite a bit of time talking about the ski club. We are at capacity for that, and there is a waiting list. The good news is that we are working down through that waiting list. But we're looking for next year, and we're thinking about trying a lottery system to make it more fair. We're hoping that South Orange might partner with us on this. The ski club doesn't make us money. It's just something that we do because it's important to our community and to our kids, and they have a good time. So we want to make that as work as best as we can. We also had a youth advisory committee meeting, and the youth are going to be working on they want to have a web presence for ways that youth can get involved and volunteer. So we're really excited that they want to work on that. Looking ahead, we have some recreation programming coming up. Adult Open Gym Basketball registration is open. That begins November 6th, and it's on Sundays, Sunday mornings. So check that out. We also have Fall 2 Tennis beginning next week. There's still some openings. Our Hope Meditation series starts on November 20th. It's a really good thing to do during the holidays, when it gets a little stressful. We have a bunch of senior programming happening. Our fun costume party is on October 29th. We have a senior trip to Red Bank for holiday shopping. And then the senior Friendsgiving on November 13 at the Woodland. And if you want to mark your calendars ahead of time, our annual tree lighting on Springfield Avenue gazebo, it will be on Saturday, December 13 from 4 to 6. And then the very next day, we will have our Hanukkah lighting on December 14. So that'll be a really exciting weekend of fun. And that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Well, thanks for that. So you took a couple of mine, which is good. They've got covered. So one thing I just want to put on my colleagues' radar, and that has to do with recycling. South Orange is going to be, so here's the skinny on it, really, basically, is that our end user for recycling, what's the name of it again?
Sure.
Bayshore. Bayshore accepts our recycling. It's been working out very well since we've been contracted with them. Much more of our, with the dual stream that we switched to a couple years ago, much more of the stuff that is delivered to Bayshore is actually being recycled, and we are getting money back for it, going against our expenses for collecting recycling. They do accept, 1, 2, numbers for plastic, sorry, numbers 1, 2, and 5. But that's typically what we say is we'll pick up. But Bayshore does accept 1 through 7. And South Orange is planning on having the town advertise that they're taking all numbers 1 through 7. So there was long discussion. The downside is that those other numbers besides 1, 2, and 5 are less recyclable. So environmentally speaking, some people oppose that we collect it because it does end up in the waste stream. Plastic is very light, so it may cost us a little more to collect as far as tonnage, but then if it's getting recycled, then we'll get more back as well. So, so I don't know if we need to have a decision now, but this just came up to me today from Walter Clark in South Orange, whether or not the township, we in our subcommittee, Mr. Kittner and I have been working on this for a few years. And when we meet with South Orange, because we have a shared contract with the hauler and the end user, we were more inclined to just stick with promoting the recycling of the 1, 2, and 7. I mean, 1, 2, and 5, as opposed to 1 through 7. But it would be also good if we were consistent with South Orange. And so if you have any thoughts on it now, that would be great. If not, I'll talk about it.
We were going to put it on engineering public works. Do you want it to go there or?
Well, we talk about recycling there. I think we have time for it to go there. So, okay, so we'll just keep it on your radar and think about what you think about it. If anybody has any questions, we can talk about it.
Can you tell us a little bit about when you say that the other items, not 1, 2, and 5, which is our current policy, but all of 1 through 7, they're less recyclable.
Less of a marketable, there's not as much of a market for reusing those numbers of plastic. Something to do with all the chemical, technical stuff that I wouldn't be able to.
So some of it could be recycled
Yeah.
and some of it may end up in the waste stream.
Yeah,
So it's not like,
which it would do anyway if we didn't promote collecting them. People would throw it in the garbage.
so South Orange has decided to move in this direction
Yeah,
because they find that the trade-off is that we're still recycling more.
yeah, let me see if Walter says anything.
I think what happens is, let's say you collect 7, plastic 7. At some point, probably the market gets saturated and and Bayshore isn't able to sell it, so they dump it.
Hmm.
And that's what happens.
Right,
But that happens with some of our other
right.
plastics too.
Sure.
Full market.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I would like, communication wise for our township to, reach out. We have a lot of new residents since we switched this. And we have a pretty, I feel like there's not a huge, I don't know what the percentage, and neither does Mr. Kittner, as to how many of our households put out their recycling every week, but it's definitely not 100%. So that means a lot of the households are still already throwing stuff out. So I think it would be beneficial for us, for what we get back in revenue, so to speak, toward, against our expenses, if we put that out in communications to remind people about the dual stream, the times, and the importance of recycling.
I think communications has been putting out, like, whether it's fibers or commingled. It
That
was
they've done.
forgotten this week.
Right.
I had to.
Yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
And also, but the
That's been
information about
helpful.
the app Recycle Coach, which you have on your phone, like I get a reminder every Sunday night, just from
Uh-huh.
the app on my phone. You put in Recycle Coach, you download it on your phone, you put in your town, and then it has the information of every town. So I get whether it's fibers or whether it's commingled.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, see, that's why that needs to go out.
Yeah. No, but what you're talking,
But I'm talking about the need that people.
compliance, recycling compliance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Here in 89, I was afraid to put recycling in the garbage. Like we had to put it in 7 different bins. We had clear glass, colored glass, blah, 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 blah. And it was well known that we would get fined if we threw out our recycling, but I don't know, that kind of dissipated along the way. Not that I want to start finding people, but I do want compliance to be a little higher than it is.
Is there any way for us to kind of figure out where we are in terms of percentage of households that do recycle?
You could do it.
I mean, I'd be surprised that it's not as high as it can be in Maplewood.
I know.
I thought everybody recycled.
No. If you drive around on the pickup days, you won't see bins at every house.
Sometimes on pickup days, I forget to put my recycling out, so don't put
Right.
me in the column of not recycling.
We'll fine you.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that. I'm not we can think about it. Yeah, nothing jumps out to me, but we can think about it.
Okay.
Well, maybe we
Also
could
wanna
get
re-
one from Basso.
Want to remind us that, when we used to talk to the Township Committee at
Mhm.
the recycling on Saturday, a lot of residents come and dump it too, because some who live in apartments or some who live in areas where they don't have.
Very good point.
So they bring it there. We used to see people, and we used to wonder, why don't they put it out? It just doesn't work for them.
Very good point.
Right. So we wouldn't be able to necessarily, unless we had somebody counting at
Yeah.
the recycling center, but I think there's got to be a way to get some
Aren't you
information.
still walking the dog? You should be-
No, my dog died.
Oh, I guess not.
Jeez.
Well. aren't you
Not,
still
I don't
walking
walk him. My husband walks him.
Dog?
It's
Okay.
the dog I used to walk.
Oh, you have George, though. You can walk with George, the dog.
Okay. We're going to move on to discussion items. And since Mr. DeLuca's already
Okay.
working,
First is outside police duty rates, the outside duty police rates, rather. This is a proposal that was sent to us by administration. We currently charge 2% and this is this is a rate that we charge when you go out and do work, let's say at a construction company or of an event, not a town event, but a private event. Then you're charged $95.18 an hour per police officer. And then we put an administrative fee on top of that, which is 2% right now. And so that brings us in about $2. And we're proposing to bring it to $5 per hour because our costs have gone up and now we're paying a third-party provider, Jobs for Blue, some of the costs. So this was discussed at Public Safety, and there was a unanimous recommendation that we increase the administrative fee from the current 2% to a $5 per hour administrative fee.
Mhm. Can you define for us off-duty?
Yeah, these are public police officers. Most of them are, in this case, it's Maplewood, who are hired by PSE&G, by construction companies when they're doing paving, tree companies when they have to take trees down. And it could be an event. I'm trying to think. Sometimes like a store will have a special sale, not so much here, but in some of the bigger stores, and they'll hire police officers to be there. Could be at a supermarket, a bank, things like that. So as long as they are hiring a public police officer, that police officer is, it's an off-duty job, and that's what they're doing.
Can I ask you a couple follow-up questions about that? I've been digging into this a lot lately because of all the events that we have in town. And some of them are events organized by community groups, some of them are private events, some of them are at municipal facilities, private facilities, and some of them are in public spaces like parks and so on. So let's say that I'm an organization that is having an event in a park, and I want to hire police officers to keep us safe for that event in the park during the day. And I get assigned 2 officers who are otherwise on duty in the township during that time.
No,
No, you can't do that.
no, they're off duty. This
They
is on
can't.
this is on their private time that they get hired to do this.
And that's because they don't, you can't have somebody at an event and then get called away on a police call. So they're not allowed to use on-duty police officers at any event unless something happens and we had no choice.
Okay. And that applies across the board for circumstances like that.
In my experience.
Yeah.
Especially, we always had, you have to hire off-duty. And it's dictated, by the way, by the police determine if you need police on site, how many police they recommend, and that's how many police you have to hire.
Right. Yeah.
It's not.
No,
like-
I mean, I think the Administrator Ware is probably tapping into where I'm going with this. I think we just need to do some education out there. Sometimes people don't really understand why they have to pay for that, if that's what they want, and what does it mean, and what is off duty. And that's why I'm engaging publicly in this matter. But yeah, I understand otherwise what our policy is and how we do this. But
Yeah.
I think we can explain that to the community sometimes a little bit.
Well, anybody having an event on municipal property, for example, has to get a permit from the clerk's office, and then that triggers an event planning meeting. And at the event planning meeting are all the relevant departments. And that's when it's determined, well, we want to close the street off. Do we need police coverage? Or can we just use barricades? And that those department heads determine that at that meeting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Yes, I'm wrong, or yes, I'm right?
No, you're correct.
Yes, you're correct.
You're correct.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And these are also off-duty police officers, I think we discussed in public safety, that are used at our high school football games.
It's the same off-duty, yes, but they are not covered by this because that is a school situation, so they don't
Okay.
pay the administrative fee, and that is assigned in-house.
Okay,
So things like the Oyster Fest, the Maple Woodstock,
Things that we.
Mayfest, some of those bigger things where we require police officers, those are assigned in-house, and there's no administrative fee for that.
and how would we determine what is in-house and what is not in-house?
It's in the ordinance.
Okay,
It defines a number of different events.
okay, so that's where the public can verify.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Or just call the clerk's office and find out.
Well, that too.
And all we're doing here is we're just going to be changing the administrative fee.
Right.
So This is a pretty standard thing. Like all that paving, all those police officers that are on Springfield Avenue, those were off-duty police officers that were hired by the company to direct traffic and what have you. Now, even though you're off-duty, you have all the police powers as a police officer,
Yeah, of course.
because that's 24 hours.
Right.
So even if you're off-duty and you see something, you can intervene as a police officer, but
Hmm.
these are assigned to be at certain events.
Any other points on this or questions?
No, I support the change that you're suggesting.
Okay, so,
Reading next meeting?
yeah, we need to do an ordinance changing this.
Okay.
Do we need a vote?
No, because we'll do,
Oh, it's just, yeah. All right. Columbia High School.
Okay.
drop-off and pack,
Yep,
prep,
yep,
all that.
yep. So, let's talk about the drop-off. So just to clarify to the public, the cones that were put up on Parker between Valley and Prospect were not put up there as part of the bike lanes. They were put up there as part of the new drop-off pattern. The bike lanes have not been established yet. What we voted on was to authorize the engineer to move forward with establishing the bike lanes, and a little later we'll be voting on a contract. We also will be voting on the next month some changes in legislation. So those cones are not for the bike lane, even though people are sending us emails telling us that they are.
That's right.
They're not. They were there to visually tell people that we do not want drop-offs and pickups on Parker. It is too busy and it's dangerous. And the way people were driving, they were going in around the lanes. They were dropping kids off in a way that was endangering them. So that's what the cones were for. Now we want to remove the cones. We want to set up, we want to be clear about no drop off. So we need to, I think in the end, put some signs up. I provided you with some models of signs. There's a pretty big sign that they use in West Orange. That's pretty clear that the West Orange Police Department will ticket. There are other places, that use different kinds of signs that you can put up on poles, and there's A-frame signs. Although I will notice that the West Orange sign, which is an A-frame sign, is secured to a telephone pole with a chain. So we'd have to make sure whatever we put up stays there because.
That's also on a bigger sign because it's on a 4-lane road.
Yeah.
So
So we do need to have some signs put up about no drop-off. And I think what we ought to do, right now, the police are ticketing people for stopping in the travel lane or impeding traffic. At the last public safety meeting, we were told that there were 8 tickets given for stopping in the travel lane and impeding traffic. It is really a bad thing to do because, as I said, people do go around you and they're in the other lane and you got people coming up and you got kids crossing. It is a very unsafe situation. So what I would suggest is that, first I thought maybe we should just do the no stopping, no standing, but we do have a commitment with the residents there that we will allow in the bike lanes temporary
parking.
standing, I guess, deliveries.
Deliveries, yeah.
So as an alternative, and I want to thank Deputy Mayor Herman for helping me think through this, as an alternative, I would suggest that we pass a township ordinance that just prohibits drop-offs and pickups on Parker between Valley and Prospect. And wanted to see, you think that would, yeah, during the school year, yeah. So you think we could do it that way? And this, I also think that it would be easier for the police to do a TO, a township ordinance, than a Title 39, which then, it could entail some points and all this other kind of stuff. So township ordinance, you just make a fine. You don't have to go see the prosecutor. You don't have to plead out. You can just do what you have to do. So if that's agreeable to us, that we would have no drop-offs on Parker between Valley and Prospect, we'll do the times, we'll do the, school days, and leave it at that.
What are our thoughts on, like Valley, for example? Like when we were coming up on Valley, heading toward the high school, you get stuck in traffic and some parents drop off right there from the roadway. I mean, that's sort of, I don't want to get like too
Yeah.
street by street, but it's just,
What I would suggest is that we focus on Parker first and let's see what happens. I think one of the disadvantages, and we've talked about this, is that as we implemented this, New Jersey American Water decided to be in the area. So we really haven't had a clean travel pattern there. Even today, I think Valley was closed between Parker and Hickson, right?
Yeah.
So I think we'll have a better sense when all that is done. And if we see Valley, then we might talk to the county, and because that's a county.
Oh, that's a county, right?
But I actually think maybe Mount Pleasant, where the high school is in West Orange, could be a county. I'm not exactly sure. That might be a county too. But in any event, why don't we do Parker and then see what happens on Valley and go from there?
I agree. I agree with this, and specifying no stopping or standing to drop off a passenger. It's just not safe.
Right.
It's just not safe to drop off kids in the middle of the road. you know, and pulling over, as you said, isn't safe for cars having to go around. And, you know, this is what the whole point of the traffic
Right.
plan at CHS is to make it safe for our kids getting to school. So, yeah, I think this is a good next step.
Okay. So the other thing I would ask is if Mr. Weir, if you would work with Mr. Kittner to get ordering some signs now, so that we can get them up. Because right now, even the chief has made a declaration, the police chief has made a declaration or an order, I guess, not to have drop-offs there. So let's get the signs up and then we'll do the ordinance and go from there.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of the sandwich boards.
You can express your opinion to Mr. Weir.
Yeah. Not going to bring it up another time. I just think between all the cones and then the future bollards along the high school, I think signs on poles are good enough. And a lot of weird things happen to sandwich boards when they're, because they stand there and there are kids throwing stuff.
So I think we're good to move forward with the no drop-off, right?
Yep.
Good? Okay. You want me to keep going?
No, I want to,
You want me to stop, right?
I do.
But I'm going to keep going.
You
because
have another
I have two
discussion
more.
item. Proposed price.
Jitney parking and the combo. So we talked about this at Engineering Public Works, and we are recommending that we increase the jitney fees for 2026. And I'll give you those numbers in a moment. We have not increased fees since 2023. And since 2023, our cost of the jitney have gone up 12%. They're going up about 6% a year. So what we are recommending, and I will say that there's a split on one recommendation. There's not a unanimous, but there's a agreement to increase or to recommend an increase of the parking fee from $330 to $400
A year.
a year. An increase in the jitney parking combo from $360 a year to $415. That's a 15% increase. And by a 2 in favor and Ms. Engel not in favor, an increase in the jitney fee by 10% from $150 to $165. So the new fees for 2026, if we move forward with this, would be the jitney fee at $165, parking at $400, and jitney parking combo at $415. And again, we are favoring jitneys because we want people to take the jitneys as opposed to the cars, because a single occupant vehicle really creates traffic and land use problems of finding places for parking. So that is the recommendation from Engineering Public Works. We did not discuss the jitney per ride fee, which is now $3. We did increase that fee from $2 in 2023, and I would just recommend we leave it the same.
I'm sorry. What was the last part?
Leave it the same.
Leave it this.
Leave it at $3. So that's the recommendation.
I'm in favor of your recommendations. Yeah.
So I think the discussion was to not increase the jitney quite as much because we want to encourage people to ride the jitney, but to increase the parking at a higher amount to discourage parking. And we started off with a proposal of 20% across the board. And then I believe the discussion was to break it out into 10%, 15%,
And 20%.
and then looks at 21%.
Yes, correct.
So I think that makes sense to break it out like that and, you know, encourage the jitney riders. I believe even at these prices, this is still not breaking even. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes. The revenue from jitneys is about 15% of the budget.
Okay.
And then if you add in the combo, it's another 20%. And if you add the jitney and combo together, that's 35%. So, yeah, it doesn't cover, but generally, mass transit has a fare box of about 35 to 40%. So we're in that number. Like New Jersey Transit, they try to keep the fare revenue about 40% or less of, between 35 and 40% of the total cost.
And we're somewhat in line with neighboring towns or still pretty?
No, we're
much
still way lower.
Okay. So
I-
residents should know that if they are.
Way lower.
Residents should know that we're way lower than other nearby towns
I'm not quite sure why, to be honest.
and that the prices paid by those using this, the jitney and the parking, doesn't quite cover the amount. So all taxpayers are paying for the remainder, just to clarify.
Yeah, and also we're less than South Orange, less than Milburn, half with this increase, half what Summit is for residents with commuter parking permits.
I think one of the things that we've seen, we feel about the jitney is that there's a tremendous benefit townwide to having a jitney because people do move here because they don't have to buy two cars. They can buy one car and use the jitney. It opens up the eastern side of town for more interest in living there because you have this jitney. So you can be a one-car family and use the jitney. So I think there's some public good that requires a public investment in addition to the revenue.
Right, and we do.
And we do.
And I'm more talking about the commuter parking permits
Same.
than I am about.
Same. I'm very supportive of the jitney. I think it opens up a lot more of our town to have access to the train. And I think that the prices that we have is reasonable. The parking, if you have the choice, you could park or you could take a jitney, we'd really like for you to take the jitney. But, yeah, if our parking is lower than our neighboring towns,
Yeah, I would think, and it's been a while, as you said, since we raised any of these, but in particular, I think the township needs to either in the ordinance add like an annual increase, if we're allowed to do that, of say whatever percentage to the commuter parking.
Well, that's not what we agreed to at Engineering
I'm
Public
not-
Works. Okay.
I'm not, let me finish.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we do it now. I'm saying it's something we should consider so that we don't have to revisit this every year and have these discussions to do, from 21% or 21.5% or 20, whatever it is. But I think the commuter parking at the very least should be increased more frequently. To just encourage walking, and encourage jitney use and to keep up with the Joneses in our neighboring towns.
I think all the committees should look at their fees and increase fees.
Yes, there are a lot of fees.
So I think
About that today.
I applaud the committee that you're on, Engineering Public Works, for doing this.
Well, you can applaud yourself all you want, Mr. DeLuca.
So where is our discussion? I'm
The recommendation is right here.
What's in the,
Recommendation is what was in the memo. I'll read it again. Jitneys, 165 for 2026, parking for 400 for 2026, and jitney parking combo 415.
But what I heard during the discussion is maybe leaning into increasing the parking combos and not the jitney to encourage more jitney use.
And we took that into account. The jitney fee is being increased by 10, recommended increase is 10%. Parking recommended increase is 21%. And the parking combo is recommending 15%.
so that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going up to 6% a year and we haven't raised the jitney in a couple of years, we're still below what it's costing
Right.
us, or, the increase that it's been, so at 10% instead of 12.
I support the recommendations.
Yep, I
Okay.
think you have the
So
support.
let's do an ordinance for this too, okay?
Mr.
right.
DeLuca, Parker Avenue Bike Lane.
Yes, so tonight on the consent agenda, we will be awarding a contract to Cefelli and Son General Contracting in the amount of $374,331.75 for the traffic improvements on Parker Avenue. That will include some curbing work and some new crosswalks. The high-intensity beacons that we'll be installing at Kensington and North Terrace. And then the bike lanes, the striping of the bike lanes, the dedicated bike lane from Boyden Avenue to Maplewood Avenue. We received 4 bids. We did a base bid, a bid alternate A, and a bid alternate B. The bids came in for all 3 at a range of 505 was the highest, 401 was the lowest, and we agreed or was decided not to award base B, thus resulting in the 374,000. That is within the budget. So we are with this now. We will bring the contractor in. If we approve this tonight, we'll bring the contractor in, and work will get started in November. And the idea is that the striping has to be done, I believe, temperature of 50 or below. So we should be okay, to get that done. We have some work to do. We have to create an ordinance that prohibits parking in the bike lanes on Parker. And that is what we can do. I drafted some of an ordinance here relying a lot on Hoboken and Jersey City. And again, we will have a dedicated bike lane of 5 feet in width. It'll be a solid white line striping, and it'll include the bicycle symbols. It will, you can be and then anyone operating a motor vehicle is not allowed to drive or park in the bike lane, except for the purposes of entering or exiting your driveway, of course. The Maplewood Police is allowed or is authorized to permit parking in the lane for construction job, tree removal jobs, et cetera, and on specific holidays and religious holy days. And then we said short-term delivery vehicles and emergency vehicles will be permitted to stop in the bicycle lane. That was our agreement with the residents who live there. In addition to bicycle riders, talking about people on roller blades, folks would have low-speed electric vehicles. And there's a definition of Class 1 and Class 2. The state has a definition. A scooter, motorized wheelchair, and bicycle with an attached trailer with a child. And they have to have safety flags for those 2.
Does a motorized wheelchair include those little carts that like what it's called?
A rascal? I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think it should.
yeah. We can make sure it does.
That Seinfeld episode where they're
Right. And then we can put in here some rules and regulations that anyone riding a bike has to ride in the same direction. You have to stop for pedestrians in crosswalks. You have to obey the instructions, stop signs, things like that. You can't carry more than 1 person at a time. We see a lot of that. I saw on the way here, I saw 2 bikes with 4 people on 2 different bikes.
like for a kid car seat, a kid bike
No. This is somebody who, this is
on the
on
handlebar.
the handlebars, or one
Ay,
stands up and
yay.
the other sits.
Yeah, that's
Oh, dangerous.
And then, I pulled out, Jersey City and Hoboken have a $175 fee. I pulled out the $50 fee, which is the current maximum fines that we have in 257 already. So I don't know if we want to go higher than that. The people who bid, or the contractor who bid it, they will be responsible to put up bike lane signs throughout the whole area. So if we are good to go, then I can work with our attorney in drafting a final ordinance to introduce, and we can introduce that at the next meeting and make that happen.
And this will allow the police to
Give tickets.
Right. And
Are we worried about, why does the ticket in for doing a violation in Hoboken 175 and we're only thinking 50?
Well, 50 is what we have in our ordinance right now.
yeah,
So,
More?
yeah.
I think we should start with 50, get people used to it,
We can always
get
change.
it enforced.
Cheap on our fines and fees.
Yeah.
I have one question. Can we require helmets for under 18?
It's already required by state law.
Already, yeah.
Oh, see, that's because it's such a good idea.
Yeah.
We'll have to definitely remember to remind people of that.
Well,
Um,
so the police can ticket.
So they could ticket for that too. That would be just
Mhm.
under state.
I think, I
Is
don't
there-
know what the,
17, I think.
I don't know who gets the ticket. I don't know who, it's under, if you're under 17, I think
I'm
you
under
might
18.
confiscate the bike.
17,
I'm not sure what the law says.
that's what the law says, 17.
No, no, I know that, but I don't think you give a ticket to a 17-year-old.
Why not?
Just don't think you do. I don't know if the law says that.
Yeah.
Would we want to do
I
anything?
mean, what are they going to give it to?
Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever the law is, we have to follow the law.
Well, we have to enforce the law too. So
First, yeah.
it's a question of who gets a ticket. Hmm.
So is it an add-on? Like if you get stopped for something else, then they could add that on?
So adults are not required to wear helmets.
Yes.
The idea of.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hmm. So it's state law, but not necessarily
Enforceable.
enforced.
Well, it depends. I think it does get enforced. I've seen people get, not here, but I've seen people in the state be pulled over for riding without a helmet. And I know it's, no, 18 and under,
17.
17 and under. And I believe they confiscate the bike or they call the parent to come and get the bike so that
Mhm.
it doesn't keep riding,
Yeah,
right?
So
yeah.
it's-
So I think that's the remedy as opposed to a ticket.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all.
If we're good for that, good for, okay, there's a second part of this, is that we did promise the residents that they would get permits to park on side streets. So we would have to, so right now, we have parking prohibited certain times in certain streets. We have schedules. We have no stopping standing certain streets, and we have time-limited parking on certain streets. And we would have to allow Parker Avenue residents between Maplewood Avenue and Boyden Avenue, both on the north and south side, to be entitled to, at no cost, to one resident parking permit for each automobile registered in the household. And it would go with the clerks, and that would allow somebody to park on one of the side streets. We should add in here something about the adjacent side street or the nearby side street, so
And they
that
already, are these in places where there's no parking?
some of them have like, for example, Burr
Like
Road
beautiful
might have no parking during school hours and stuff, but
Okay.
this would be a permit to be able to do that.
I'd like to look at what the restrictions are on those adjacent streets before we.
Well, I also have a question about that. Is that side street by permit for special circumstances, for hardship? Or you have a driveway, but you also can get a permit to park on the street? The latter?
Yeah, because you can't park that second car or that first car on your street. So we're allowing them to park on a side street. That's what we told them.
I mean, you can accept deliveries. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can park there during holidays. You can make special arrangements with PD in certain circumstances. Yeah. So why are we also giving parking on top of that?
Around the corner so that.
That's what we said. That's what we told the people we would do. They asked, where would they be able to park? And they asked, are we going to be able to park on streets where right now adjacent and this is around schools, like all those, like Kensington and North.
Okay. I mean, sure. You know how I feel about parking in public roads, and I think that we are always putting parking over people, and it's a mistake, but I also understand that that was what we said, and we should honor what we said.
So if you want to look at the code, it's all here. All the sections are here.
Does that include the current restrictions on those
Yep.
side streets?
Yep.
Okay.
If you go on here, you'll find, you look at the schedules, you'll see.
This is daytime, not overnight.
Oh, yeah, nobody can park overnight.
Right, I'm just.
This is only
clarifying.
daytime. And this is suppose, you have somebody comes over to clean your house, they have to park in the driveway, and you park your car around the corner. That's every Monday. You can't park your car in the street, or you have two cars and somebody's, coming to visit you, you can't say, park in the street. You have a wake, you park around the corner, things like that.
Okay. Is everybody all right? We'll move forward?
Yep,
Okay.
good work.
Moving all along.
All right, that's it.
All right, we have a consent agenda with the exclusion of the one Mr. Wary said, which is, just want to make sure, number 14.
Jay,
Yes. Resolution 323-25.
All right,
Did-
so
did
do we
you-
need a motion on everything?
I'll move it, Mayor. I'll move that we adopt the consent agenda items 14A through 14I.
I'll second. Ms. Fritzen?
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca.
Yes.
Ms. Herman,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, we come to our second public comment on any issue at all from the public. If there's anyone online who would like to speak to the Township Committee about any subject matter, please raise your hand.
Mayor, I'm moving Ruth Beckerman Rideau to panelist. Welcome, Ruth. You may unmute yourself and address the committee.
Can she turn a camera or?
And
Yes.
Hello, hello, and thank you for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. I wasn't able to attend your meeting when you discussed the Maplewood Village Alliance's proposal to institute paid parking in the village, so I want to take an opportunity to just raise two thoughts that I had. I read the proposal, I read the study that they referenced in the proposal, and I did watch your committee meeting. And I came to the thought that the conclusion that two of the reasons for recommending that we institute paid parking was related to, one was to relate to the equitable enforcement of parking regulations that currently exist. And the second was to increase parking space availability by increasing the turnover of parking spaces and then reduce congestion from people driving around looking for a parking space. I just wanted to share that I don't understand why those two things are being connected to paid charging for parking. So the electronic equipment that was spoken of in the proposal can be used to increase consistent enforcement. As I understand it, it goes into a police car. They can drive around. If it's 2 hours or 1 hour, they could read the license plate and know if someone has overstayed the regulations and then give them a ticket. I'm still not clear on why that is connected to having required paid parking. I don't see that connection, and I just wanted to share that with you. And the second goal was to increase the turnover of parking spaces. And I'm assuming the theory is that if people get tickets for overstaying their welcome, then they won't overstay their welcome. But again, I don't understand why it necessitates having paid parking. And the last thing I wanted to speak to is that this concern of lack of parking, a challenge to find parking, which I do sometimes find. I usually find it, though, between the periods of April 15th and November 15th, when we reduce the available parking by 21 spaces by turning those parking spaces over to the restaurants, which I've used many times myself and really like. I would ask the committee to consider reducing the length of time that we turn those spaces over from the current 7 months to maybe 4 months. It seems excessive to me. I know I just ran over, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much for your thoughts. We're still going to be discussing this quite a bit, I'm sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else, Mr. Wery?
If any other attendee would like to speak in public portion, please raise your hand now. I see no other hands, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I take a motion to adjourn.
I move it.
Second?
Mr. Daffis,
Yes.
Mr. DeLuca,
Yes.
Ms. Harmon,
Yes.
Mayor Adams.
Yes, thank you. Good night, everyone.